Welcome to Bible Telling, Story of the Week. We're going through a series called Lesser Known Stories of the Old Testament. Now, this week and next, we're going to be dealing with that unusual character in the Old Testament, a man by the name of Balaam. Now, you may know a better known story about Balaam and his mule, but that's not the entire story. There's so much more. So we're going to break it up into two parts. This week, we're going to be dealing with that mule. Next week, we'll tell you the rest of the story about this interesting man. So let's get started. Enjoy the story. The children of Israel wandered through the wilderness for 40 years. Near the end of this time, they came to the valley of Moab, next to the Jordan River, across from Jericho. The king of Moab was a man by the name of Balak. When he saw the massive amount of people in his valley and realized what these people have done to the other kings throughout the wilderness, he was afraid. He called his council, and they talked about this situation and about what they could do because these people were mightier than Moab. They decided to send a delegation to the east, next to the Euphrates River, and go to a man by the name of Balaam. They said, whoever Balaam curses, they are cursed. And whoever he blesses, they are blessed. They gathered some gifts to go along with the delegation. And Balak sent a message. They traveled, and when they arrived at Balaam's house, they said, King Balak of Moab has brought these gifts, and he has said, please come quickly. There is a people come out of Egypt that are mighty, and they are in our valley, and they're stronger than I. I want you to curse them so I can defeat them, disperse them, and send them away. Balaam says, I can only say what the Lord tells me to say. So stay the night. And possibly tonight, God will speak to me and tell me what I am to do. So the men stayed the night. During the night, God came to Balaam and said, who are these men staying with you here? Balaam said, oh, they are from King Balak, king of Moab. He says that a large amount of people have come up out of Egypt, and he wants me to go and to curse them so he can have victory over them. The Lord said, no. You are not to go to those people. You are not to curse them because they are blessed. The next morning, Balaam told the delegation that he could not go. And he sent them away. When the delegation came back to King Balak, they said, he will not come. Balak became concerned, and he got bigger gifts and a more important delegation. Sent them and said, tell him to come. Give him this message. When they got to Balaam, they said, King Balak has said, don't let anything stop you from coming to me. If you will curse these people, I will give you great rewards. I will make you rich. Balaam says, even if the king would fill my house with gold and silver, I cannot say but what the Lord tells me to say. Still, stay the night. I will see if the Lord says something different. That night, the Lord came to Balaam and said, since these men have come back to you a second time, you may go with them. But be careful. Only say what I tell you to say. So the next morning, Balaam saddled his donkey, took his servants with him, and started on the journey going towards Moab. As he was traveling along, the angel of the Lord stood in the path, drew his sword to kill Balaam. The donkey looked up and saw the angel with the sword, but Balaam couldn't see him. The donkey turned and went into a field. Balaam beat the donkey and put it back up on the path to go its way. The angel went farther down the path to a place where there were vineyards and a wall was on each side of the path. Again, it stood there and drew its sword. Again, Balaam could not see the angel, but the donkey looked up and saw it. And it couldn't go in the field, so it pushed up against the wall, trapping Balaam's foot between her and the wall. Again, Balaam beat the donkey, made it go. The angel went farther down the path to a very narrow place and drew the sword. Again, Balaam could not see the angel, but the donkey looked up and saw the angel. Did the only thing it could, it crouched down beneath Balaam. Balaam became angry, took a stick, and started beating the donkey. And then God allowed the donkey to talk. The donkey said, "Why have you beat me 3 times?" Balaam says, "Because you have humiliated me in front of others. If this were a sword instead of a stick, I would kill you right here on the spot." The donkey says, Haven't I been your transportation ever since you were born? Have I ever done this before?" Balaam says, "No, you never have." With that, his eyes were open and he saw the angel and he bowed down. The angel said, "Why have you beat your donkey 3 times? I was angry with you, and I was going to kill you and let her live because of what you're about to do in Moab." Balaam said, "If you don't want me to go to Moab, I will turn and I will go back to my home." The angel said, "No, you may go, but be careful. Only say the words that I give you to say." And with that, Balaam went on to Moab. Well, there you have the first half of the story. Next week we will conclude the exciting end of this story and also of this man's life. Interesting story. Meanwhile, go to our website, BibleTelling.org. If you have a comment or you can write a devotional about this particular story, possibly a drama, some music, a poem, and maybe even some historical data, some interesting customs and times about the story, please come to the website, see what other people have put on, and add some things yourself. Well, until next week, when we'll see you again for Bible Telling Story of the Week.